But today I'm here with Dustin Owen from the Loan Officer Podcast. Over the last few years, Dustin has interviewed over 500 people across the mortgage industry, top producers, company leaders, marketers, coaches, operators. And while he's done that, he's also built one of the most recognized media companies in our industry today. We're going to try to do something a little different. We'll see where it goes, but instead of Dustin interviewing the industry today, I wanted to flip it around and get his perspective on what we're seeing right now. What's changing, what loan officers are most worried about, and where the real opportunity still is moving forward. So with that, Dustin, thank you for doing this. Um,
Oh, Anthony, I'm stoked to be able to do this with you. And I like it when the script is flipped. I'll
mhm.
have to warn you though, sometimes, old habits are hard to break, and I
Yeah,
sometimes find myself sliding into that host
yeah,
chair and I start peppering you with questions.
yeah, that's
But
fine.
today I'll try to, go sit in the passenger seat and ride shotgun and let you do your thing.
Yeah, I think the benefit too of that is like just how much exposure you have to people. It's not only the public stuff you put out, but it's the side conversations, it's the secrets. It's all that stuff too that I think if we can give some people a little insight, that'll be really helpful. A lot of people are worried right now. Some people are excited. So if we can just dig into your brain a little bit, I think people can walk away feeling more excited about the future, hopefully.
Yeah, no, I'm excited about the future.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
look, there's some things that scare the bejesus out of me, but there's nothing I can do about it. Like, I'm not putting that back into Pandora's box.
yeah.
So I think the only thing we can do is be excited about the future, even if, none of us can see that top stair. We may only be able to see the first three stairs in front of us. I'm like, cool. Well, let's go ahead and march up those first three stairs and trust that by the time we get to stair number three, the visibility for stairs four, five, and six have made themselves apparent.
Yeah. Well, let's start hard and then we'll see where it goes.
Okay.
Do you genuinely believe there'll be loan officers in 10 years?
10 years, yes.
Okay.
5 years, yes. 3 years, yes. Could I get behind the thought or the theory that there'll be less loan officers in 10 years than there will be in 5 years, and there'll be less loan officers in five than there are in three? Potentially.
Mhm.
Potentially. But then, like, what is that looking like? Less compared to household formations, less compared to population size, right? Because we may have the same number of loan officers serving a larger population,
Yep.
or we may have slightly less originators than we do today that are serving a slightly larger population. And then, what does less look like? I mean, if you told me we were going to eliminate the bottom 20 or the bottom 30% of originators, then yes, that sounds like in numbers, oh my God, that's a huge amount. In terms of units and volume, not so much.
Right.
So,
Could
it's a
actually be
kind
the
of
same.
loaded question, right?
Yeah. Yeah, a
But
little
but
bit.
yes, I mean, ultimately, I think every industry is going to see less human need and less human involvement over the next 3, 5, or even 10 years. I don't think we will get to a point to where we have no human involvement. And I could definitely see this industry going the way of, if you're trying to side hustle this, if you're trying to part time this, if you're thinking that, this is, something that you can do here and there when you feel like it, potentially, and this may be wishful thinking, potentially we could see those people get evaporated or absorbed into the I don't work in the mortgage industry any longer.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. The actual volume may not change at all. It may go up with just the people that weren't doing anything now are just gone. They're not.
Correct. I mean, like that volume does have to get spread around, but it's like a little bit goes to Nick, a little bit goes to Anthony, a little bit goes to Deb. It's I don't know if it's a whole lot, but I'll say this, and I've been saying this for if you go back and listen to early episodes, right? I'm on episode 650 of the Loan Officer Podcast, 33,000 subscribers on YouTube alone. That means we have double that on Spotify and Apple. But if
Incredible.
you go back and listen, this is the cool thing about recording yourself. If you
Yeah.
go back and listen, let's see if I'm right. I've been telling originators that I think you'll always be able to make 3, 4, 500 grand a year as a mortgage loan originator. It just might mean you're doing 1,000 loans a year and not 400 loans a year, or you're doing 400 loans a year and not 100 loans a year in order to make that type of money. The good news is I don't think you have to work more hours. I think
Yeah.
you'll still be working those 40 to 50 hours a week that you're working, but you definitely may have to do a lot more loans and
Yeah.
help a lot more people in order to make that type of money. And I think technology is going to allow for it. So that does mean that all of those people that are picking up a loan here and a loan there, as they get, as I said earlier, absorbed into the ether, right? They get removed or extracted. Then we spread all of that volume around. We leverage technology. We may spend less time on a file, less time talking to a borrower. We're still making that type of income. However, it's definitely doing double or triple the units in volume.
Yeah. Well, just to stay on that topic a little bit, you coach people, you advise people. Um, Most of that I'm going to assume is today strategy, but what would you say in a couple of years the loan officer job is?
Yeah. So, one, I would like to believe we coach on the evolving strategy,
Got
right?
it.
I'm a big proponent of if it's new, it's not true, right? Which means if it's true, it's not new. So there's so much of what we do is not true. Advertising and marketing, it's nothing new about it, but it's very true. And a lot of the principles that you're applying today in what you do with Vonk Digital, whether it's copywriting, whether it's scroll stopping hooks, there's nothing new about that, right?
Yeah.
We may call it a scroll stopping hook today, but 20 years ago we just called it a headline.
Yeah.
15
Yeah.
years ago we called it clickbait,
Yeah.
right? But it's all the same concepts. So I think the one thing that's going to stay pretty true and pretty consistent, if I go back 30 years in this industry, it was all about being your local community expert. It was about being the most well-known person who was the source of information. I think that still applies. I think that's where men and women are going to dominate in a world of robots and in a world of AI. Now, how you distribute that information, yes, it very well may be through your personal website. That if you don't have it professionally built and you're not adding content and you don't have SEO and AEO and you're not, right, then it's going to be hard for you to serve your community, hard for you to be the subject matter expert, hard for you to be the source of information, and more importantly, hard for people to find you. But 30 years ago, you needed people to find you. 30
Yeah.
years ago, they found you in Homes and Land magazine. They found you maybe on a billboard. They found you when you brought donuts to the office. They found you when you advertised on the park bench, right? Or the bus bench.
Yeah. Yeah.
All of that applies. We're just not Homes and Land magazine it anymore. We're not doing the park bench or the bus stop bench wraps anymore. We're creating content. We have, tricked out websites. Like that's some of the stuff that we're doing. I think that still applies in the future.
Yeah. So
Now, coaching, I think was your other aspect, and maybe I missed that part of the question. You're asking,
well, just how do you like what do you see the role of the loan officer being, and as you advise these people, it's like, okay, don't focus on this, focus on this. There's gonna
yeah,
be things that go away. So
cool. We're all going to become a bunch of hims, not hers,
explain
but
that.
hims, human experience managers,
I like that.
or manager of the human experience.
Yeah.
Right? There's a certain part of we need to understand the emotional aspect of people's fears, anxieties, their excitements, and we need to be there for them. Like we'll be their emotional support human. There's another one for you. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm going to be a ESH, an emotional support human. That there is no such thing as a one size fits all mortgage, and people are going to have questions, and we're naturally going to distrust things that we don't know, and technology is something that most of us don't know. So there's that component. I think the bigger one is, what is your influence? The most influential people will be the most in demand. I mean, I
Yeah.
remember 2 years ago being at Mortgage Con and giving a presentation. In that presentation, I'm like, look, the future looks like this. People will choose people and their robot. So people still do business with people, but they those people want to know I have really cool robots, and they're
Hmm.
totally cool working with my robot. 10 years ago, my realtors loved working with my loan officer assistant. Loved. However, crazy thing happened. When I tried to pull out of production and sell him my book of business, there were plenty of realtors that were like, not going to do it. I'm like, what are you talking about? You've known Kevin for 10 years. He's been on my team. He's my guy. They're like, yeah, but we work with you. And I'm thinking behind the scenes, I'm like, Kevin does all the work,
Yeah.
but that's not how they saw it. Well, if that's 10 years ago, I can fast forward 10 years. I'm going to tell you, consumers still want that man or that woman. They're fine if the robot does most of the work as long as I can get some human on the phone when I need so, when my anxiety level spikes or when I'm super excited or I need to just connect with another person flesh on flesh. So yeah, I'm pretty high on that theory, on that thought process, but I'm coaching people how to become the subject matter expert, how to become that source of information, basically how to become the mayor of their town. You
Yep.
have to create content. You have to show up online. Like you
Yep.
have. If I Google your ass, do I find you?
Yep.
And better yet, take Google out of it. When I pull out my phone, like I can do right now, and I can scroll up and I look right here, Chat GPT. When I go to chat and I have a conversation with what I call my guy Coach GPT, when I
Yeah.
talk to Coach GPT, do you show up? And if you don't, that's going to be a big issue starting now, but an even bigger issue 3, 5, or 7 years from now.
I think that's probably the most optimistic and exciting and real thing I've heard in a while. Just talking about how people still want the expert. They're going to use the yes, they want they'll take the robot, they'll take the LOA. It's no difference than people wanting like caring about what lender you worked with. No one really cares if they trust you. So it's just replacing whatever the back office is, whether it's a robot, humanoid, whatever. But the expertise in that emotional piece is going to be tied to the human. I think that's super important. I believe that too.
Yeah,
Like,
look, and it's not just me saying it. I mean, one of the things that I get to do because of my passion for this industry, right? I mean, I started as a lost, broke, scared loan originator.
mhm,
I quickly learned how to become a top producer. I survived the crash. Then I rebuilt. When I rebuilt with two partners, I mean, we literally took something from $40 million our first full year
mhm.
to pretty quickly 40 million a month to $1 billion division,
Yep.
all without a recruiter, all without some kind of a crazy interest rate market like we saw in 2020 and 2021. Um, and when my career started there, I then became very involved in the Mortgage Bankers Association, the CMB Society, doing all of these things and pouring my heart and my passion into this industry. I've become pretty well connected. Now, the podcast has helped a lot over the past 6 years. And then getting invited to go speak on some of the largest stages has definitely helped with the influence part. But being one of the most connected people, I get to have conversations that just not many people get to. So I had a chance to talk to Trent over at Pylon Lending. And not enough people know about Pylon, but I'm telling you, Pylon's a lender that you should know about and you should be watching. Some of you in fear, some of you with excitement. And they are Silicon Valley. They are big name tech backed, like big names.
Yeah.
And they're trying to revolutionize from soup to nuts, cradle to grave, A to Z, the manufacturing and delivery of mortgages. So I was talking to Trent because I'm planning a trip out there to go hang out with the guys for a day, to probably record some content, go to a Giants baseball game. And I asked Trent the same exact question. And he literally said, loan officers will be the last ones to go.
Mm.
Right. And he goes, and I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying it won't be reduced. I'm not saying that we won't have to do more units and more volume to make the same money. But someone like that has really no dog in the hunt. Like, what does he care whether or not he tells me LOs are going to be a thing of the past or LOs are here to stay? But
Yeah.
he himself is in the camp that nah, LOs here to stay.
Kind of like the financial advisors when like a stockbroker isn't executing trades for people anymore. They became financial advisors. Like their whole physical job went away, and now it's just about advising. So
Yeah, that's a great analogy. And look, some people, when their stockbroker went away, they self-managed,
yep.
and they still do. Other people, like this guy right here, no, I pay my 40 or 50 basis points to my advisor. It is a luxury service that I'm gladly willing to pay for.
Yep.
It's how my wife and I's marriage stays sane because it's no longer about what she wants to do with her money, what I want to do. It's like, no, what does Caleb want to do? He's our
Yeah.
wealth advisor. So,
Yeah.
yes, great analogy.
Yeah. All right. So I want to get to visibility and attention in a minute because that's certainly a major part of your world right now. But like with all this focus on content, AI, branding, and social media, talk to everybody about where you feel. Some of this is a loaded question because I've listened to a lot of your stuff too, but where do you think prospecting still fits into this whole equation?
So I still believe real estate agents are the number one referral source for mortgage brokers, lenders, and loan officers. I do. Now, you may have had 80% of your business back in 2016 come to you by a real estate agent, and maybe you've seen the 80% dwindle down to the 60%. And, I have friends of mine that crush it, and realtors are 40% of their business.
Yeah.
But there's no other category out there where they're generating greater than 40% of their business from that one category.
Yeah.
Right. So if a realtor or real estate agents was 40% of my business, I have to look at the other 60. And I would say, well, you know what? 10% comes from friends and family, and 20% comes from past clients, and 20% comes from financial advisors. And then I get another 10% from my website and the content that I create. That still wasn't 40. Right.
Yeah.
So real estate agents, and I do believe that real estate agents will have less influence as the consumer behavior continues to change as the next generation enters into that homeownership age and the household formation age. But I don't think it's going to be so drastically diminished that it's not a prime target. So I definitely believe that we start with those local realtors. I think we have to do a better job of treating our circle of influence, the men and women that we invite to our weddings, the men and women we send holiday cards to, we as originators as a whole do not treat them as if they are already clients, and we should.
Hmm.
Right? We should be celebrating them. We should be offering them annual mortgage reviews. They should know that they're never bothering us when they reach out and that we are their source of information. I think as an industry, we've done a pretty poor job of that over the past 20 years. And then between TikTok and Instagram and YouTube, you have to be doing something to create content that edutains not just your current audience, but also allows you to grow that audience. And not in a way that you have to get TikTok famous.
Yeah.
I'm just saying in a way that you could generate daily and weekly interest from the community you serve, where they're asking you to deliver on your subject matter expertise.
Well, that's a great segue. So, what type of content do you think borrowers actually want versus what loan officers are producing? Is it aligned? Is it misaligned? I mean, like,
Oh man, Anthony, this could be a whole entire like breakout session. Yeah, in fact we should almost table this. So I don't know if people know about this, but Vonk Digital has partnered with TLOP. Like we're doing our first ever event this summer. It's actually the end of summer. It's in September. It's the 14th through the 18th, and
in the
we're doing a
Caribbean.
Caribbean takeover, right? Like it'll be the coolest mortgage event you've ever seen because rarely do you try to get 150 mortgage professionals all on a cruise ship heading to the Bahamas for 4 nights together. But
Yeah.
that's what I wanted to do because I'm a guy who believes in networking. I love to mastermind, and I kind of get annoyed going to conferences for 3 straight days when I'm supposed to be sat in a conference room that's dark and just have people talk at me the whole time. It's
Yeah.
crazy because I am one of those speakers. I do get on those stages and I do talk at people. And don't get me wrong, there's a place and a time for it. But by attending events my whole entire career, I will tell you the best times happen in the hallways. They happen at the bar after hours or at dinners. So I decided let's create an entire event where the focus is on the people who are attending. Let's do networking functions every day. Let's do breakout sessions. Let's, do fun things that force people to interact. So anyone who is interested, it'll not just be the coolest event. It's gonna be one of the most economic events. I just ran these numbers for clients of ours who are wanting to bring like 10 of their originators. Some they're going to pay for, some the originators have to pay for themselves,
Yeah.
right? They're, some are going to be recruits, but they're getting 10 cabins. So I ran the numbers. And they have, two younger originators that want to come. They're worried about funds, which, okay, I get it. It was less than $650 per originator to come on this cruise ship where your entertainment is included, your food is included, every TLOP event that we're going to do is included. I'm like,
Yeah.
y'all, like most times the hotel room alone is going to cost you $1,000. We're
Yeah.
$650 all in once you get yourself to Port Canaveral, which is Central Florida. So I'm hoping anyone tuning in takes this as this is your invite. Anthony and I want you to come hang out with us. If you're a fun, growth minded originator, or you're in mortgage sales, maybe you're in leadership, you should go to my website, which is tloponline.com, TLOP online. You can see right there, TLOP, right? It stands for the Loan Officer Podcast. Our brand is TLOP. Go to the website. The event is called TLOP Unite Caribbean Takeover. I think on the website it just says Unite. You can click there, see all the information, and then you can also register so you don't miss out and come join us. So you asked me a question about what
Hold
should,
on.
yeah, go ahead.
Just to clarify. So if you go to the website, because being a web guy that I am, I went and looked at it. You might want to update this too, Dustin. But so at the top menu, like you said, there's a menu item that says Unite. That takes you to the information about the event. Yes, I'll be there too. I'm excited for it. But if you go to events, it actually doesn't have it on there. It's all the regional stuff.
No, it's interesting. Events is normally like what coaching calls we have coming up, where I'm speaking next.
Yeah.
I'm going to take that as a suggestion though, that event should also be on there as a double.
Yeah,
And
just put
I'll
it.
take that to
Oh,
my partner Mike, who builds our websites.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, look
Yeah.
at that. See, even the pros need someone in their corner to coach and consult them.
But you can't edit your own essay. That's what I always say. You're too close to it,
I
so
love that. You can't edit your own essay. I think I'm going to swipe and adapt that. So you're asking, I think, Anthony, like what should loan originators be doing today, right?
yes.
Events.
Yeah.
They should be doing events. Like we're doing an event. Why are we doing the event? Not to make money. I promise you, I'm not going to make money, right? I'm taking Anthony's sponsorship money. I'm taking everyone else's sponsorship money, and we're using it to throw really cool parties, right? Really awesome swag, making sure the experience is through the roof amazing. That's all I want. Next year, I want everyone who attended this year to want to come back, and we're going to go from 150 people to 300, 300, 500. You all should be doing events. It's not a 1990s thing. It's a 2020s, 2030s thing. The events that you're doing are for the communities you want to serve. You have to be the most well known, the most connected. Like there's a saying, your net worth is the sum of your network. Well, get out there and shake a lot of babies and kiss a lot of hands,
Yeah.
right? I mean, and you can do it online, you can do it offline. So events are still a great way to introduce yourself to people who don't know you and stay top of mind with people who don't. You can do events in person, such as realtor lunch and learns, happy hours. You can do virtual events, such as home buying events. You can do a first time investor event. You can do a first time home buyer event. And you can run these with some simple meta ads where you get the participants clicking, and when they click to register, you give them something for free. What do you give them something for free? I'm basically just giving you away a whole entire like free coaching right here. When you give them something for free, it's typically like, hey, by registering for next week's virtual home buying seminar, we will give you a free one-on-one 30-minute home buying consultation. What is
Yep.
that, loan officers? It's a pre-qual. That's what it is. But it's a home buying consultation. It's free and it's one-on-one. And then when they attend, you're like, by attending, because it's one thing to register, Anthony knows this, but not others. It's one thing to register, another thing to attend. By attending, we're going to give you our 5-page first-time homebuyer playbook or our 5-page first-time real estate investor playbook. You know who made that playbook? Your mouth, your brain, your heart, and whatever your favorite Claude or Chat GPT prompt would be. But that's something you can give away as a gift for people who
Yep.
actually attend. And then anybody that actually applies for a home loan with you for the next 12 months, you're going to give them a $500 closing cost credit. For many of you, you're talking like 10 or 15 basis points based on your average loan size. You would gladly give up 10 or 15 basis points in gross revenue if it meant you got to acquire a new client. So, what are some other things people are doing? They're doing events, whether they're in person or whether they're virtual. And then I think too few of us actually do client appreciation events. And I think those events need to start becoming a thing. If you recognize consumer patterns and consumer behavior, we all love experiences, right? I mean, we learned this really during COVID, right? We
Yeah.
want experiences. That's why we're doing the cruise. It's an experience. Well, your market, your community, they too want experiences. Start being the guy or the girl that sponsors and hosts those types of experiences. Then you get them into your web. Now they're getting your newsletter. Now they're seeing your content on social. Now you're influencing them so that when they need you, they're going to call you. And then when they call you, your robot does all the work. And then we rinse, repeat. But right
Yeah.
now, your robot can't throw events. Your robot can't get out there and connect on a human level with people.
No, that's great. Just one more thing about the event. I hope the industry pays attention and copies you. I know maybe you don't, but if you the breakout sessions, I think that was kind of glazed over. Like breakout sessions versus being talked at, I think is so valuable for attendees, and I think that
Oh,
people
and I
starving.
imagine, Anthony, our breakout sessions will have 8 to 18 people in them.
Yeah.
Because we're going to run them 8 a.m., 8:30 a.m., 9 a.m.
Yep.
Because during the day, I want you all enjoying Nassau, Bahamas,
Yep.
right? I want us being on the private beach where we're going to be hosting a private beach bash. But it's those 45 minutes with that one subject matter expert and 8 of your friends of the industry just sitting there and sharing best practices. I mean, that's where real learning and real masterminding takes place. That's where
Yep.
you can ask questions and you can get a little bit more granular on certain topics.
Yep. Let me go back to so I know then maybe this is a topic for that event, but let's give a couple nuggets here. Most loan officers are what I call reluctant content creators. They do not want to be necessarily an influencer, but they understand the value of being visible in their market. Hence, they are willing to create content for business purposes, right? So but I think a lot of them still fall flat on what should I do? What should I post? And so if you were on an elevator with a loan officer right now and someone was like, "Hey, Dustin, what, we got 30 seconds. What's my strategy? What should I focus on?"
Awesome. First, I'd say 80% of what your marketing department produces, throw it in the garbage. We'll start there. Not their fault. They don't know any better. They've never been a loan officer. They've never sold for a living. So, and never is a strong word, but the majority of them.
Yeah,
I would then say stop speaking in industry jargon. Your
that's a huge one.
consumer needs to be spoken to as if they're in fourth grade.
Yeah,
Even if they're a medical doctor, they're phenomenal, brilliant medical doctors that don't know mortgage, they don't know personal finance. So if you haven't mastered the art of storytelling, if you don't know what a tie down is, what a takeaway is, then you start there and then ask yourself, why do people love reality TV? Like Anthony, you and I started with the real world on MTV. Right
Sure.
then, from the real world, maybe we saw the Kardashians, we saw the TV show Survivor, we saw the TV shows American Idol, then The Voice. Now it's like the Real Housewives of whatever city they're in now.
Yeah.
They work because we are voyeuristic as a society. We like to peer into what others are doing. You need to understand that, and your marketing needs to allow people to be voyeuristic into your world. So if you become a really good storyteller, you don't have to talk about that DSCR loan. Nobody even knows what DSCR means. Like, in
No
fact,
one.
let's call it what it is. It's a no income required investor loan.
Yeah.
And then tell me a story about how someone recently came to you and maybe they were a school teacher and maybe they wanted to buy their first property, but maybe they couldn't qualify on a school teacher's income. However, they had great credit, they had assets, and because this was going to be a rental property, you're able to use proposed rent to offset the mortgage payment, and now they qualify, right? And give that school teacher a name. And if you don't want to give them a name, not their real name, because you sometimes want to protect privacy, talk
Yeah.
about what grade they taught, talk about what county they were in, because that'll be memorable. People remember stories. It's why we sing the ABCs. It's why I can't tell you anything about trigonometry, but if I hear the first three beats of any 90s rap song, all of a sudden my brain can start reciting lyrics as if like I wrote them myself yesterday.
That's
So
incredible.
people remember stories. We have to become better storytellers. And that's what I'm telling loan originators about their content. Quit speaking in industry jargon, quit creating marketing that only mortgage professionals understand, and talk to them at a fourth grade level, and more specifically through storytelling and telling them this is why is important. This is what it means to you, and solve for their pain. Name their pain, and then solve for their pain, and then tell them why it's important. From there, you'll become more influential, and from there, your marketing starts to work.
Becomes more memorable. I mean, even with some of the stuff you're talking about, like, and it may not be a direct correlation, but in some of your content, you're talking about like training for an Ironman as an example. You don't have to tell about that, but that's going to be more memorable. And I would imagine you probably get more like real and emotional reactions to that kind of stuff than even all the other stuff you're doing in your businesses.
Well, let's start here. People do business with people,
Yep.
right? And then usually, the most of us know the rest of that is people do business with people they know, like, and trust.
Yep.
But when I'm coaching our students over at TLOP's Originator Coaching, I'll say to them, but if I don't know you, I never get an opportunity to like you. And if I don't like you, there's no way I'll ever trust you. So what have you shown me and what have you said that gives me the chance to like you? Meaning, if all I see is you posting about a 7 day close, a 1 hour CTC,
Yeah.
your units and volume funded, A, I don't speak that language. I don't know if that's good, bad, or indifferent. So all you're doing is marketing to other mortgage professionals, but I
Yeah.
know nothing about you. Do you have kids? Do you like country music or rap music? Do you love the outdoors? Or are you a city person? Like, it was coached to me and now I coach it. You don't have to give away all of your private stuff to be
Yes.
personal, but you
Yes.
do need to be personal. So, yes, if you know me, you know that I do triathlons. I love the Atlanta Braves. I'm a diehard UCF football fan. I've been married for 24 years. I have two kids. I'm a little bit wild and crazy, and I'm all go all the time, right? Like, you know that about me. And oh, by the way, I happen to have been a mortgage badass in my youth, and today I'm helping other people with their mortgage badassery, right?
Yeah.
But like, if you notice, all that came after talking about what I do for exercise, my travels, my activities, my family, etc. Yes, I think more and more we have to remember that people do business with people.
Yeah. Um, Dustin, thank you so much. I got one or two more questions, and I'm going to let you run for the day. Maybe one more. Well,
Yeah.
here's one. Let's land on this one. If a ambitious 20-year-old person came up to you asking if they should become a loan officer starting today, what would you tell them?
Hell yes. Hell
Okay.
yes. Like, yes. Now, I would say this. You're entering into an industry where you can make more money than heart surgeons and
Hmm.
oncologists, but you're not a heart surgeon and you're not an oncologist. So if you're going to enter into this industry, your mindset should be, I'm going to become the best I can be. I'm going to help the most people, fund the most loans, make the most money, save the most money, tithe the most money, so that if and when robots take over in 10 years, I can look back and say, hell yeah, look at where I am at 30 years of age. Look at how I've impacted my community. Look at the wealth I've been able to generate, the families I've been able to serve. And that was one heck of a run.
Yeah.
And that would be my exact advice to that 20-year-old getting into the industry.
Yeah. Well, everybody, thank you if you're watching, for following along. Check out the Loan Officer podcast. There is so much information there. I actually had somebody, one of our longtime clients today, email me because I put out, hey, do you have any questions? And Adam Johanna responded back. He's like, I've been listening to the Loan Officer podcast since episode 4. That's
Wow. Well,
that's,
shout out to Adam,
that's
episode
pretty
4. I
cool.
mean, look, the content was probably there, but the quality wasn't. So, Adam, I appreciate you. Yeah, I mean, go to our YouTube channel. It's TLOP Entertainment. I tell people just go to YouTube and type in the Loan Officer Podcast. You'll find us, click subscribe, and you can get lost for years. It's funny, I run a coaching company, Anthony. We talked about TLOP's originator coaching, but I'll
Yep.
tell someone straight up, you don't have to pay for coaching. Literally go to that YouTube channel and just get lost for a couple months, and
Yeah.
you'll probably learn everything that you need to learn to be successful.
Yeah.
Luckily, people like accountability, people like human touch, right? They
Yeah.
like that ability to ask questions. So our coaching community is alive and well and thriving, but you honestly don't need it if you just go to the YouTube channel and implement everything that we talk about.
Well, just like in the financial advisor world, just like where mortgage is going, information is everywhere, and people still want humans to help them apply it to themselves. I know I asked some like more doomer questions in the beginning, but everybody I hope leaves with like deep down, I'm very optimistic about where this industry can go. It's just about shifting what you're focusing on and understanding that. So, Dustin, thank you for giving your perspective today, and to
Yeah,
be
and Anthony,
continued.
I didn't get to say this earlier, but look, y'all, if you don't have a website or your website is average at best, you can't live in that world anymore. Websites are no longer a placeholder for lenders. It is how we show up online. It's how whether they chat GPT us or they Google us, you should 1000% look at what Anthony and his team over at Vonk are doing for you. He's not paying me to say this, but I've seen his work. I know the value he brings. I know how affordable it is. Um, don't get left in the 20 teens when we're all racing to the 2030s.
Yeah, and just to, so there's an episode, I believe it was April 2nd. I don't remember the number, but you guys are talking about the things you're doing for the TLOP online website,
Mm-hmm.
and to not only prepare but stay on top of, getting found in ChatGPT. A lot of that stuff we're doing for our clients now, but if anybody watching this is like, I don't get it yet. That's a great episode to just to hear a business owner talking about what they're doing for their business. No, it's not a mortgage company, but it's the same application of the stuff they're doing. And we'd obviously be happy to help with that for anybody listening.
Awesome.
All
Well, I
right.
appreciate Avant Digital supporting us with the TLOP Unite Caribbean Takeover event. I appreciate this friendship and partnership, which, by the way, started at a mortgage conference, right?
So true.
Mortgage Con this year. I
Yep.
mean, it's the purpose of attending events, networking, shaking hands, meeting new people. But yeah, I appreciate you being one of our newest friends that we met this year.
Yep.
We'll support each other for years to come. And for everyone who tuned in this far, we appreciate you too. Thanks so much.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Dustin.